Hello, YouTuber and Twitch kind, and welcome back to a new Let's Play slash stream with me, BlueAnkylo. Today we're going to start working through Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, and I need to work on my pronunciation of stuff because I'm going to have to speak a lot for this one. Anyway, this game is a bit of it's kind of like a text adventure in a way, but you're also playing the role of a detective slash lawyer, so you have to do some puzzle solving and finagling like that. So there's a bit of detective work, kind of like a mystery novel where you have to figure stuff out as you go along, basically. And I've got it set up, hopefully, so that this is the nice big screen for the top window where most of the stuff happens, and then the bottom screen will be our inventory and commands and stuff, and hopefully you guys can see that as we go along. I decided to enlarge the big screen first. You even get the chat up in the top right there, so I was trying to be fancy. We'll see how this looks. It's kind of an experiment, so let's get to it. Let me know if the music is way too loud or too quiet or anything once we get started here. It might be quiet in game, so we'll see. The music starts now, by the way. Now, if you want me to voice act, you're going to have to donate some BlueAnkylo points to it, because the characters in these games are absolutely insane. This guy's a genius too, by the way. Our first criminal mastermind. August 3rd, District Court. Alright. So, we are Phoenix, and we have lots of interesting thoughts. Shinga's giving me all of his blue points. Boy, am I nervous. Maybe I should do at least Phoenix. I don't know if I'm going to be doing all the other characters, but, you know. There's our boss. Hiya, Chief. Yeah, just a little bit late to the courthouse. It's no big deal. First case out of law school, murder trial. Sounds like fun. Yeah, it's not like we were desperate. Yeah, my client for this one, someone I know. Totally. The only reason we even have a job is because of this guy. I want to help him out any way I can. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be doing all... There's a lot of text. We'll get him out of... We won't let him go to jail, guys, right? We'll be okay. Oh, yeah, this guy's a little bit dramatic. I forgot about that. Yeah. Death, despair. Ah. He's just gonna die. Hello, butts. Straight out of Final Fantasy V. Hey there, Larry. I love... You gotta spend a bit of time looking at some of the animations. They're classic. Give me the death sentence. No, that's... My job's to get you out of this mess, buddy. Don't worry. Yeah, so that's our first case, I guess. Someone's killed his girlfriend and pinned it on him. The newspapers say it was you. My name is BlueAnkylo / Phoenix Wright for today. Here's the story. The first case is a fairly simple one. For the mods, if people decide to spoil everything in chat, feel free to ban them away. For now, we'll let it roll, but if, let chat be warned. Spoilers will be banned, no questions asked. Seeing as that's the entire point of this story. A young woman was killed in her apartment. The guy they arrested was the unlucky sap dating her. Larry Butts, my best friend since grade school. Our school had a saying, when something smells, it's usually the butts. In the 23 years I've known him, it's usually been true. He has a knack for getting himself into trouble. One thing I can say though, it's usually not his fault. He just has terrible luck, like someone else I know. But I know better than anyone that he's a good guy at heart. That, and I owe him one, which is why I took the case, to clear his name. And that's just what I'm going to do. So, this is going to be, some of this stuff you actually have to pay fairly close attention to details. I'm pretty sure they start us off easily, but eventually you'll want to be paying attention to things like dates, times, rooms, and key pieces of information like that. Although, for now, it doesn't matter much. Ah, the judge. Judge Santa Claus, perhaps, but, he's alright. You get to know all these characters much better as the game goes on. Trial of Mr. Larry Butts. And we've got the prosecutor, Payne. The, right, defense is ready, Your Honor. That's what you call me, right? Right. Yes. Just a little nervous. Don't worry about it. There'll be plenty of opportunities for the banhammer. Judge, jury, and executioner in the chat there. Right. So our conduct determines the fate of our client. Yeah, don't worry about it. Thanks, Your Honor. Uh-oh. That's not supposed to happen. What's going on? What's going on? Something with my internet, probably. Anyway, Mr. Wright, given the circumstances. A test to ascertain your readiness. Oh no. Hand shaking, eyesight fading, it's back to school test. A few simple questions. Uh-oh. Hope you guys were paying attention. The name of the defendant. It's okay, I know it's my best friend. He's been my friend all my life. Hold on. Try that. Correct! Alright, we got one question down. Not too bad. Next question. This is a murder trial. Uh-oh, the victim's name. Did they tell me that? Glad I read the case report cover to cover so many times. I have no idea who the murder victim is. This is terrible. Total blank. Mia. She's good. No! I know it! It's, Mrs. Somebody something. Of course I know the victim's name. I just forgot temporarily. Right, the court records, yeah. I knew about that. I'm touching it right now. Cindy's autopsy. Time of death. July 31st, 4 to 5 p.m. Cause of death, loss of blood due to blunt trauma. We have an attorney's badge. We almost never have to use this. Don't worry about it. Alright, Cindy. I know now. Do it for me, please. I'm begging you. Don't worry. We'll be using the court record all the time. Alright, the victim is totally... Let me just double check, because I'm bad with remembering stuff like this. Cindy! It doesn't actually say her last name, so it's just Cindy something. And luckily... Oh! No. Profiles. Ha! Right, I forgot about this one. My boss, Larry Butts, my buddy, and Cindy Stone. We found the actual place I was supposed to go check stuff out. A model. She lived in her apartment by herself. There you go. Cindy Stone. Bam! Oh, there's also Winston Payne. I forgot him. Alright, good. So, Cindy Stone. We're good. Cinder Block. The victim's name is Cindy Stone. What was the cause of death? She died because she was... Do you guys remember? This is your first test as a Twitch chat. It would take too long if I waited for you guys, but seriously. We read this a second ago. Struck once by a blunt object. Nice! I can be a lawyer. Yeah, I'm much more relaxed after that easy test. Yeah, I mean, there's only my buddy's life on the line for murder trial. She died because she got murdered before she murdered the person trying to murder her. Okay, question for the prosecution. Let's pay attention. Okay, victim struck with a blunt object. What was that object? Statue of the Thinker. Okay. Okay. There's not going to be a whole lot of CSI in this one, though. Don't worry. But once they... this is actually important how the evidence system works. But we'll get into that way later on. But anyway, he's added some evidence to the trial. And now we can actually look at it, basically. Yeah, you'll definitely want to have a look at stuff like this when it comes up. The statue in the shape of the Thinker. It's rather heavy. Submitted by Prosecutor Payne. I think that's all we can do with it right now. That evidence is the only ammunition you have in court. That and our stellar wit. Yeah, I already did it. I already touched it. Bam! Alright, witness time. Mr. Butts. What do I do? Yeah, we gotta pay attention. This is important, everybody. Let's just hope he doesn't say anything unfortunate. We didn't have a chance to prep our witness, our defendant, for his testimony here. This could be bad. He was in the courtroom just saying how he should be... he should just die and get it over with. Ahem. Is it not true that the victim has recently dumped you? Romeo and Juliet, Cleopatra, and Mark Anthony. Wait a second. Didn't they all die? Yeah. Except maybe Mark Anthony, I'm not sure about him. She just wasn't taking his phone calls or seeing him, ever. Mr. Butts, what you describe is generally what we mean by dumped. In fact, she had completely abandoned you and was seeing other men. Like me! No, he's nowhere near cool enough. Alright, let's continue along with this. One of them. Sorry, Dave. We haven't gotten very far, though. Okay, so according to this, she was in Paris until the day before she died. That might be important. Passport added. So whenever this happens, I like to, like, look at it. Too bad. No, you're not allowed to talk, Judge. I have to look at this evidence. Arrived home from Paris July 30th. She died July 31st at 4 p.m. or so. Which was in here. 7:31, 4 to 5 p.m. There you go. Alright, continuing on. Aw, Butts didn't even know that. Like most aspiring models, she was poor. Wait a second, sugar daddies. We should be totally objecting at this point. No. Dude. We can clearly see what kind of woman this Miss Stone was. What do you think of her now? Okay, it's orange text. That's probably important. Right. Quiet. Butts. There he has a way of running his mouth. He's my friend, though. I can say that about him. Well, trust Mia. She knows what she's doing. My client had no idea the victim was seeing other men. That question is irrelevant to the case. Take that, Payne. What do you mean irrelevant? What do you mean irrelevant? That cheating shit. He didn't even know. Poor buddy. Order in the court. Order in the court. Believes the accused's motive is clear to everyone. Yes, quite. This is so not looking good. Next question. Well, he didn't even really answer the first question, so we're off to a pretty good start. You went to the victim's apartment on the day of the murder, did you not? He even phrased that in a terrible order. We should be objecting on grounds of confusing the witness or something. I'm no lawyer, but come on. Did you or did you not? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Oh, but that's not gonna work. You gotta tell the truth, buddy. Did you go or not? Tell the truth! So, he admitted that he was there. It doesn't mean he killed her, it just means he was there at the day she was murdered. Didn't even see her, she wasn't home. His objection is terrible. Uh-oh. More witnesses. The man who found the victim's body. That means he's probably the murderer. This is probably a terrible idea to bring this guy as the witness, from his perspective. He saw the defendant fleeing the scene of the crime. Order in the court! Mr. Payne in my rear. Call your witness. Could be bad. Selling newspapers at the victim's building. Okay. Mr. Frank Sawit. This guy looks very shady. You sell newspaper subscriptions, is this correct? Alright. Alright. Time for testimony. Witness's account. So this is important stuff. He was going door to door selling subscriptions when I saw a man fleeing an apartment. I thought he must be in a hurry because he left the door half open behind him. Thinking it strange, I looked inside the apartment. Then I saw her lying there, a woman, not moving, dead. I quailed in fright and found myself unable to go inside. I thought to call the police immediately. However, the phone in her apartment wasn't working. I went to a nearby park and found a public phone. This is before we all had cell phones, by the way. I remember the time exactly. It was 1 p.m. Was it? Maybe. The man who ran was, without a doubt, the defendant sitting right over there. Don't jump on your buddy just yet, Phoenix. Give him a chance. Are you sure? Don't give up! It's only your first murder trial, Phoenix! Incidentally, why wasn't the phone in the victim's apartment working? At the time of the murder, there was a blackout in the building. Yeah, phones I'm pretty sure are supposed to work without electricity. The old phones that just have a phone line rather than fancy electricity and wireless and blah 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 blah. Yeah, I guess. The battery dies. The phone that Mr. Sawit used was one of those cordless varieties. A record of the blackout for your perusal. Well, we better have a look at that. Now, Mr. Wright, hold on, let me just have a quick look at this thing. Electricity to Miss Stone's building was out from noon to 6 on the day of the crime. So this would stack up with the testimony that the phone was not working when she died because it's from 1 to 6. On the other hand, she died between 4 and 5. Yes, Your Honor? Begin your cross-examination. Let's do it. We've never done it before. This is it. The real deal. Best part of the game, basically. Why, you expose the lies in the testimony the witness just gave. He totally was lying. They always lie. He must have lied. You got it, fella. You got it. How do I prove he's not? Well, you hold the key. It's in the evidence. I don't think you can ever miss the evidence. It's not like those old adventure games where if you forget to pick up a penny at the beginning of the game, you can never finish it. So don't worry about that kind of stuff. They won't let you progress until you get the right evidence. You just have to make sure you use it at the right time. Alright, we got it, Mia. I got you. Contradictions. Those are our friends. Present it! Rub it right in his face. Okay, we got this. The trick is using it at the right time. Alright. So if I remember correctly, you can go through his account as many times as you want at this point if you forgot something. Alright, so he was going door to door selling subscriptions when he saw a man fleeing an apartment. Nothing intrinsically wrong there. You can try to press for more information, but it's probably not worth it at this point. We also have a certain number of strikes before we basically lose and our guy goes to jail forever. I thought he must be in a hurry because he left the door half open behind him. Like, I guess... I'm pretty sure you can press without any cost, and you sometimes get a little bit more information. Someone is knocking on the door. I'm sorry, everyone. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry YouTube for the interruption. Alright, so, we just pressed him for information and then I left it, so... Our question, I suppose, is, isn't a man leaving an apartment a common sight? I find it odd you would take notice of him. He just seems strange. Okay. Like he was mad and frightened at the same time. Sorry, Dave. Like a criminal fleeing the scene of a crime. The defense requests that the witness refrain from conjecture. He just looks suspicious is all. Okay. So, what's next? So, like I said, you can kind of press for extra information. Sometimes you'll unlock interesting things. We already know, like, what we're looking for. So, pressing on all these points is not going to really accomplish much other than sort of practice. I think you can press them on this one too. You just press them on everything. This is what happens when you press on kind of a not important topic, I think. Half open, you say. No one came to close the door. So, he's really, really strange. So he looked inside the apartment. Let's just get through this a little quicker. He saw her lying there, a woman not moving. I suppose you could press to make sure this is actually the person who's now claimed to be dead. Are you sure she was dead? She wasn't moving. There was blood everywhere. Fair enough, I guess. Quailed in fright, found myself unable to go inside. So here's something. If he's unable to go inside, how did he know the phone wasn't working? You didn't touch anything in the apartment. Yes, I mean, no, nothing. It's a little bit suspicious. I thought to call the police immediately. To continue pressing on everything. That's quibbling over details, but okay. So like I said, a lot of times you'll press and you won't get anything out of it. So he says the phone wasn't working in her apartment, even though he didn't touch anything in her apartment. I don't like that. Yes, I mean no. No, it wasn't. But you said you didn't go into the apartment. Right, he can totally explain. There was a cordless phone on a shelf in the entranceway. He reached inside and tried using that. Sounds fishy to me. Went to a nearby park and found a public phone, sure. He remembers the time exactly. It was 1 p.m. We're gonna press him. Absolutely sure that it was 1 p.m. He seems really confident that it was 1 p.m. It does seem strange to me, Mia. You betcha. Present! We're gonna present Cindy's autopsy report. I hope I'm right. You found the body at 1 p.m. You're sure? Frankly, I find that hard to believe. Your statement directly contradicts the autopsy report. The autopsy notes the time of death at sometime after 4 p.m. There was no body to find at 1. How do you explain this 3-hour gap? Now look at him sweat. The high-pitched objection. This is trivial. The witness really forgot the time. No. I find that hard to believe. Why were you so certain? Yeah. That's a really good question. Thanks, Mia. Point out contradictions. This is why I like this job. Their whole story falls apart. Uh-oh, now he's gonna change his story. Little liars. They tend to try to fix things after you point out something like that, and then it gets even worse. Round 2. You see, when I found the body, I heard the time. There was a voice saying the time. It was probably coming from the television. Oh, but it was 3 hours off, wasn't it? I guess the victim must have been watching a video of a taped program. Okay, guys, a video of a taped program is something your parents used to do back when they had it's called a VHS player. It's got like tape in it, and it records things on the television. It's kind of like, I don't know, maybe there's nothing similar these days. That's why he thought it was 1 p.m. Terribly sorry about the misunderstanding. How could she be doing that during a blackout? That's a good question. You hear a voice saying the time on a tape program. Cross-examination. I know what to do. Yeah, I got this. We got this. The time of discovery. Generally gives you some sort of hint about what you're pressing for. Thanks, Nightbot. So as usual, we can keep pressing him for stuff if we really want. It's probably coming from the television, you say? Are you sure it was not a radio? See, sometimes you press it doesn't really lead anywhere. Incidentally, there was no radio on the premises. There was only one large television. Okay. Something seems fishy. Hearing the television, Alright, what about if we go back here and present something about, oh, I don't know, maybe we had a blackout from 1 to 6? From noon to 6? Hold it right there! The prosecution has said there was a blackout at the time of discovery. And this record proves it. You couldn't have heard a television or a video. Unless it was on a cell phone or a portable DVD player that didn't exist when this game came out. Well, The defense has a point. Explain it. Quite. Wait, I remember? Yes, let's get an accurate testimony. By now, you're practically in contempt of court for lying to the judge twice in a row, I think. Yeah, your credibility is way down, buddy. Yeah, I know, Glory. You do seem a little distraught. Yeah, it must have been the shock of finding the body. Let's hear your testimony again. Last chance. Hearing the time, round 3. Actually, I didn't hear the time, I saw it. There was a table clock in the apartment, wasn't there? Yeah, the murder weapon. The killer used it to hit the victim. That must have been what I saw. You saw a clock. I guess that would explain it, sure. Okay. Now what? Better have a look at that clock. So he says he saw it. Now, before I start, I want to look at my... Okay, we can look at it from here without presenting it. It only counts once you click this button, so don't accidentally click that button. So we got the blackout report, we've used that. The passport to say she just got there. The statue. It's rather heavy. Apparently it's a clock, but we can't really look at it or anything. I think in the sequels they let you look at these sorts of things a little bit more. Cindy's autopsy report. Alright, well I'm not seeing any obvious thingamajiggers just yet. Contradictions. Alright, let's press them. We just gotta figure this out. It strikes me as a very suspicious mistake. I only just remembered that table clock. A table clock. Was there a clock at the scene? This is the first I've heard of it, and I'm the judge. Yeah, the murder weapon. The killer used it to hit the victim. Keep pressing. The murder weapon. Something is still fishy. That line seems to come up a lot. That must have been what I saw. Yeah, why didn't you just tell us in the first place? Alright, he says he saw it. Now you have to find the contradictions. We went all the way through, we pressed him on everything. So basically, all we've got at this point, this is one of those situations that's a little bit ambiguous as to what the contradiction is. The good news here is there isn't a whole lot of possible things to even try to present, so it'd be very hard to lose. We've already used the autopsy report once, and we've used the blackout record once. It's unlikely this has anything to do with the passport, so you would be looking at this statue very closely. There is some rules about having to declare what the evidence, like, I can't remember how they worded in the game, but if this is actually a clock, they actually have to kind of tell you, because right now it says it's a statue. Wait just a moment. The murder weapon wasn't a clock. It was this statue. Now, how is this supposed to be a clock? You with your objections and your evidence. Just who do you think you are? Just answer the question, Mr. Sawit. That's a clock. Now, it might be a clock. This statue is indeed a clock. Hey, Glory, by the way. The neck is a switch. You just tilt it, and it says the name out loud. As it doesn't look like a clock, I submitted it as a statue. My apologies. Terrible form, Pain. A table clock after all. Well, So, now what? Uh-oh. Do we have any problems? Well, I have some problems. Uh-oh. The only way he could have known the weapon was a clock is to hold it in his hand to flick that switch. Yet the witness testified that he never entered the apartment. Clearly a contradiction. The witness knew it was a clock because he had to have gone in the apartment. You're lying! You were inside the apartment on the day of the murder. Prove I went in there. I just did! Uh-oh, that's a stretch, Phoenix. The shock of the blow triggered the clock's voice. He's way better than me! That was the sound you heard. Order in the court. Please continue, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Sawit. The sound must have left quite an impression on you. Understandable, since the murder weapon spoke just as you hit the victim. That voice was burned into your mind. That's why you were so certain about the time. Objection. No, it's not. Baseless. Just look at his face. That's the face of a murderer. Did you strike the victim with the clock? I mean, oh, toupee to the face. You hate me? Breakdown. He killed her and he should burn. Burn! Give him death. Order in the court. There's this shredder too. Your Honor. Do you have any evidence? Hold on. Right. The sound Mr. Sawit heard was definitely the clock. A fact which is clear if you simply... Well, you see... Sometimes they put you in a position where you're almost guessing. Now, we don't know a whole lot about the clock. We could try sounding it now to see if it makes the time 1 p.m. That'd be pretty damning. The neighbors aren't going to help. The clock's batteries... I'm not sure about that one. Let's just go with try sounding the clock. We've got 5 tries, right? Your Honor, may I have the clock? Beep. That's a strange way to announce the time. He is the thinker, after all. Can you tell me what time it is now? 11:25. Wait a second, I told you guys to pay attention to those times at the beginning. Ach! As you can see, this clock is exactly 3 hours slow. Precisely the discrepancy between Mr. Sawit heard and the actual time of death. So, Mr. Sawit, try to talk your way out of this one. You forgot one thing! Oh, now what? While it may seem like the clock is running 3 hours slow, it proves nothing! How do you know it was running 3 hours slow on the day of the murder? If you can't prove that, you don't have a case. I'm not sure about that one, but we'll roll with it. I've got an idea, though. Mr. Wright, Yes, Your Honor. Uh-oh. They treat me like a criminal! A criminal! We almost had him, guys. It was close. I'm sorry, Larry. There's nothing I can do about it now. We did the best we could. Wait a second, Mia? Super objection! Don't throw this one away. Not like this! It's over. I can't prove the clock was slow the day of the murder. Maybe we can prove that it was fast. Well, yeah. You know, there was one piece of evidence you didn't use. Try thinking out of the box. Assume the clock was 3 hours slow and think through it. Why was the clock 3 hours slow? Alright. Can you guys figure this out? Can you think of a reason as to why the clock would be 3 hours slow? Well, I'm not sure 100% where they all are, but, you know, traveling between Paris and what I assume is either Japan or New York, there's probably some time change involved of some sort. They did actually say where we were. I totally forgot. See, I should have paid more attention to the beginning when they said what city we were in. Wait! You must have the evidence. You say the clock was already running slow on the day of the murder. Have you found evidence to support this claim? Alright. Tough words. Let's see if you can pull this one off. Alright, the evidence is the passport. The only piece of evidence we haven't used yet, because this is the first tutorial case, basically. Take that! The victim had just returned home from abroad the day before the murder. Could be in LA. I'm never 100% sure where it is. I always forget to check. As we all know, the time difference between here and Paris is 9 hours. Wherever we are. It's 4 p.m. here and 1 a.m. the next day there. The clock wasn't 3 hours slow, it was 9 hours fast. The victim had to reset her clock since returning home. That's why the time you heard when you struck her dead in her apartment was wrong. Proof enough for you, Mr. Sawit? Or should I say, Mr. Did It? Instead of Saw It, I'm saying it wrong. I gotta pay more attention to these names. Mr. Saw It instead of Mr. Did It. Oh, it just hit me, guys. It's just so clever. Gah! Oh, we killed him. Success! Murderer down. That's shotgun lawyer for you. Well, this case has certainly turned out differently than we all expected. Mr. Payne. He was arrested and taken away. Very well. Mr. Right, not Mr. Wrong. Oh, so clever. Oh, there's a lot of puns. I don't think I've ever seen someone complete a defense so quickly and find the true culprit at the same time. Don't worry, this will become a pattern for us. Thank you, Your Honor. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Larry Butts. Not guilty. And there's confetti and cheering like all courtrooms when you win. Court is adjourned. Let's have a party. We'll actually save the party for the end of the game, but we'll have a party eventually. It turns out that Frank Saw It was a common burglar. He posed as a newspaper salesman to check and see when people were out of the house. That day, when Larry went to her apartment, the victim wasn't home. After he left, Mr. Saw It let himself in to do his dirty work. While he was searching her place, the victim returned. Flustered, Mr. Saw It grabbed the nearest blunt object he could find. August 3rd, a few days later. Phew! Still can't believe we won, guys. Happy music. Hey, Hot Boss, how's it going? Actually, I don't think it's a few days later. I think this is the day of trial. It's a few days since the murder. I get the days all mixed up. Should be writing these all down. Thanks, Chief. I owe it all to you. I sure hope you're here to help me for the next case. Foreshadowing. It's been a while since I've seen such a trial. Such an end on such a satisfying note. Yeah, I hope all our trials end like this. She's so happy. She's a pretty good boss. I mean, no problem. She helped us out. Let us stand on our own feet. Oh, what's up, Butts? Yeah, you're supposed to be happy, buddy. I got you off. You're not going to jail anymore. Aw, Nick. Don't worry about me. I'll be dead and gone soon. Good. Wait. No. What? Bad. Bad. Larry, you're innocent. The case is closed. But my Cindy Windy's gone. Poor guy. She was, well, yeah, let's not say it. Congratulations, Harry? Wait a second. Who? Harry? She's as bad with names as we are. Harry Butts innocent. Oh, that's great. That's great. I won't forget this ever. Let's celebrate. Nice try trying to ask my boss out there. Take this. Aw, thanks. The murder evidence. Or the murder weapon, even. Oh, you made the clock. You could have told us all about it if we'd had time to talk to you. Oh. You made that. Alright, Butts. I think you'll be alright. Yeah, I believe it. You've been doing this your whole life. You gotta get serious. You gotta find a real girl to settle down with. And stop looking at my boss like that. Excuse me? Oh. I think she did think of Larry. You know, she might have a point now that I think of it. You know, Mia, I think I know what you mean. Something that proves how she felt about him, and maybe she wasn't just using him for money? Right. What the heck is she talking about? Well, old Betty, remember that clock you made her, and then someone killed her with? Well, she did hold on to it. Check it out, Larry. Proof positive you weren't just some chump. So it's not the same clock. It's a different clock. There's two of them. She took it with her when she traveled. She probably just needed a clock. You think so? It's a pretty heavy clock to just take traveling. I guess this was pre 9/11. We could take a murder weapon / clock on the plane. I'm glad you asked me to, Butts. You're a good pal. Wrong. Thanks, Mia. You were a good tutorial teacher. People, too. Getting philosophical here. We never really know if our clients are guilty or innocent. Except all of our clients will always be innocent. I can trust them. All we can do is believe in them. And in order to believe in them, you have to believe in yourself. This is sounding very final. Never let go. Never surrender. Believe. Well, our work here is done. Yeah, good work. Good job. Ooh, dinner on her. Well, that's getting very, rated R very quickly. We'll drink a toast to innocent butts. Hey, okay. Yeah. Speaking of Harry. Right. Why did we become a lawyer again? Partially. Sure. Over drinks. Ooh. Sounds like we've got a good job and a hot boss / possible girlfriend. Good start to the game. And so my first trial came to a close. Everyone was happy. Larry slapped me on the back and said, "Gee, Nick, it's good to have friends." I told her to stay away from my boss, him to stay away from my boss, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to pay me, unless you count the clock he gave Mia. Right, so we're a little bit poor. I didn't know it then, but that clock was soon going to be at the center of another incident. And my promise to tell the chief about me and Larry would be one promise that I wouldn't be able to keep. The end of Chapter 1. So for YouTube, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.